Good evening. I call this January 25th meeting of the Morrisville Town Council to order. Thank you to those watching via live stream and those who are watching the recording of this meeting. On January 28th, a video of this meeting will be uploaded to www.townofmorrisville.org/government/live-video. Our adopted town mission statement is connecting our diverse community to an enhanced quality of life through innovative programs and services. Our adopted core values are dedication, integrity, courtesy, and innovation. To maintain the safety of town residents, staff, and the town council while following guidelines related to social distancing and limited public gatherings, this meeting is being facilitated virtually via Teams meeting. All council members will be able to fully participate in this evening's work. This time, Eric Smith, our town clerk, will conduct a roll call of council members.
Mayor Cawley.
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Johnson.
Present.
Councilmember Fender.
Present.
Councilmember Garamella. Councilmember Rao.
Present.
Councilmember Robati.
Present.
Councilmember Scroggins Johnson.
Present.
All council is present with the exception of Councilmember Garamella.
Thank you, sir. Prior to further action, I will ask if there is a motion and a second to invoke Rule 19. I'll recognize in chat. I'd like to recognize Mayor Pro Tem Johnson, please.
I'll make that motion to invoke Rule 19.
Thank you. I'd recognize Councilmember Rao.
I second that motion.
Thank you. Town Clerk Smith will now facilitate our roll call vote.
Councilmember Scroggins Johnson.
Aye.
Councilmember Robati.
Aye.
Councilmember Rao.
Aye.
Councilmember Fender.
Aye.
Councilmember Garamella. Mayor Pro Tem Johnson.
Aye.
Mayor Cawley.
Aye.
Motion to invoke Rule 19 passes.
Thank you. Before we adopt tonight's agenda, Town Council policy is to review and ensure there are no conflicts of interest or appearance of conflict of interest with any items on the agenda. Does any council member wish to be recognized at this time? Okay, seeing none, Town Manager Page has requested we add an item to provide a winter meeting update to be held just after our work session and before the closed session. If there's no comments on that, is there a motion and a second to adopt this evening's agenda? I recognize Councilmember Rao.
Mayor and Council, I move to approve this evening's agenda with the addition of the winter retreat being added before we go into closed session.
I'd like to recognize Mayor Pro Tem Johnson.
I'll second that motion.
Thank you. Town Clerk Smith will now facilitate our roll call vote.
Councilmember Scroggins Johnson.
Aye.
Councilmember Rao.
Aye.
Councilmember Robati.
Aye.
Councilmember Garamella. Councilmember Fender.
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Johnson.
Aye.
Mayor Cawley.
Aye.
The motion to adopt the consent agenda with the addition of a winter retreat discussion passes.
Thank you very much. There are 3 items on this evening's consent agenda: a budget ordinance amendment for Old Fire Station Number 1 renovations, a resolution authorizing the purchase of real property at 119 Markham Drive, and approval of the December Town Council meeting minutes. Does any council member wish to discuss any of these items before we vote? Seeing none, is there a motion and second to adopt this evening's consent agenda? I'd like to recognize Mayor Pro Tem Johnson.
I'll make a motion to adopt the consent agenda.
I'd like to recognize Councilmember Robati, please.
I'll second that motion.
Thank you very much. Town Clerk Smith will now facilitate our roll call vote.
Councilmember Rao,
Aye.
Councilmember Garamella, Councilmember Robati,
Aye.
Councilmember Scroggins Johnson,
Aye.
Councilmember Fender,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Johnson,
Aye.
Mayor Colley.
Aye.
The motion to adopt the consent agenda passes unanimously.
Thank you. There are 3 administrative reports tonight: a quarterly capital project update, an FY 2022 second quarter financial report, and a mid-year budget report. Administrative reports are provided as information-only items unless council has questions. Are there any questions on any of these items? Okay, seeing none, thank you, staff, for providing all that information. We are now at presentations. We have 3 presentations this evening: a proclamation recognizing the Health for Humanity Yogathon, a quarterly economic development report, and a Morrisville Carpenter Road improvement project update. I now recognize Councilmember Rao to read the proclamation recognizing the Health for Humanity Yogathon, to be followed by a short video. Councilmember Rao.
Thank you. Proclamation recognizing the Health for Humanity Yogathon. Whereas yoga is an ancient Hindu practice developed thousands of years ago in the Indian subcontinent for maintaining spiritual, mental, and physical well-being. And whereas Surya Namaskara, or sun salutation, is a traditional yogic practice combining a sequence of postures with breathing exercises, and whereas Hindu Swami Sevak Sangh, or HSS, is a non-profitable charitable organization with over 250 branches in 171 cities and in 34 states, including 10 branches in the state of North Carolina, through which it conducts a Hindu values education program for Hindu families and community service activities such as food drives, providing hot meals to shelters, and other sewa activities in several cities across North Carolina. And whereas HSS is organizing its annual Health for Humanity Yogathon with the goal of having 20,000 individual participants practice Surya Namaskar to promote the spiritual, mental, and physical well-being of all members of the community. And whereas yoga enthusiasts, yoga studios, local schools, and other community organizations are participating in the HSS Health for Humanity Yogathon, now therefore, the Town Council of the Town of Morrisville does hereby recognize HSS for organizing its annual Health for Humanity Yogathon to promote the spiritual, mental, and physical well-being of all members of the community and encourage the citizens to participate in this health awareness activity. Signed, Mayor T.J. Colley, Eric Smith, Town Clerk.
Thank you very much. At this time, I'd like to ask Town Clerk Smith to play the provided yoga demonstration video. Is there supposed to be any sound with this?
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 8, 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
So we'd like to thank HSS for providing that video. At the end, you could see all the different poses in line. Looks like they had a chilly day, but we really appreciate them showing us how that's done. Builds a lot of flexibility, and there's lots of great events going on with yoga. I can't quite touch my toes, but I am working on it. This time, we'll move on to the next presentation. Linda Frenette, the Morrisville Chamber of Commerce President, will facilitate our next presentation. That's the Quarterly Economic Development Report. Ms. Frenette.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and members of council. Thank you for allowing me to be with you this evening. I understand you have received an advance copy of the narrative report as well as a spreadsheet of the RFIs that were received from Wake County Economic Development. As you can see, that there is still a steady stream of interest in North Carolina, receiving 18 inquiries this last quarter. And for the total of 2021, we had 73 inquiries received through Wake County Economic Development. So certainly no slowdown. In addition to those 18 inquiries, we, as you know, had one announcement made by the governor right before the Christmas holiday break, and that being Science 37, aka Project Bear. And I guess I would just like to, point out from the inquiries that were received that we are seeing, of course, a continual improvement from the life sciences sector, but also quite an increase regarding assembly and manufacturing of electric vehicles. That seems to certainly be a rising trend that we are noticing. There's also a trend in a request to purchase rather than lease, and purchasing large greenfield sites, 50, 100 acres and beyond. So a lot of those times, as you know, Morrisville does not have what folks are looking for, but we certainly are submitting when possible. Also in the report regarding small businesses, I hope that you have noticed that the Chamber has really ramped up our services for the small businesses. I mean, number one, because we just adopted our new strategic plan that is focusing on entrepreneurship and small business development, but also because those small businesses were the ones hardest hit during these challenging times that we're in. So, at the end of the year, we did everything from various shop local campaigns to even creating a certain level, specific level of sponsorships just for small businesses to participate with chamber activities and build their exposure. So we've got some very exciting initiatives that we were assessing at the end of last year that we're hoping to implement as early as the first quarter of this year. And I'm open to any questions that you might have.
Thank you very much for the summary and the report. At this time, I'd like to first recognize Councilmember Garamella, who actually joined during that last video. Councilmember Garamella, welcome.
Thanks, Mayor.
Okay. I'd like to recognize people with questions now in chat. I'd like to recognize Councilmember Rao.
Excuse me. Well, Linda, I want to thank you for that report. And, I just want, it's pretty interesting. I mean, out of the last year, 6 life science companies announced expansions and relocations in Wake County, and 3 of them were in North Carolina, Invitae, Science 37, and then we've got the Sparks LS. So it's quite exciting. And I just want to give kudos to you and the team for doing that. My question is, what, as we put together our our startup ideas. And I know we've been talking to Wake Tech and the Small Business Development Center. Are we also going to be following what's going on in the town center development plans? Because I think that we have a great opportunity to sort of have a place in the town where, entrepreneurs can gather and, interact with each other, which doesn't seem to be a lot in the Triangle area. So, there is the Frontier, but just curious as to what your thoughts are on that.
Thanks for that question, Councilmember Rao. I think I started voicing interest in the town center area immediately. And of course, coming from the mindset of a chamber, my first thought was, can there be any donated space for entrepreneurs? But certainly we have an eye to that, as you said, that certainly geographically is a fantastic location to have an opportunity for entrepreneurs to gather and to just build off of one another and everything that's needed to grow. So ideally, that would just be the perfect spot, and I hope that we can pursue opportunities with the developers of that project to allow for space for those entrepreneurs. And as you know, the Spark campus is also looking at having some incubation space, but of course that would be for the life sciences companies.
Steve, you were still muted.
Thank you so much, and keep up the great work. And looking forward to seeing you at the annual meeting next week.
If only that meeting were still happening, Councilmember Rao.
Sorry. Okay. I'm behind on email. My apologies.
While mentioning that, you want to give us the revised date?
Yes, you'll be celebrating an early Cinco de Mayo with us on lunch on May 5th. Location is still Prestonwood Country Club. Our keynote speaker, Brian Hamilton, will also be coming along with us on this new date. And we will probably, since it will be a year and a half, we will be not only recapping 2021, but part of this year, and hope to add some other speakers and attractions. We're grateful for everybody's patience and understanding with postponing due to the COVID protocols.
Okay, wonderful. I don't see any other questions. So I'd just like to thank you very much for your report, and we are always happy to support all your efforts as you help support us. It was a really good year for Morrisville despite COVID, and a lot of that was because of you and your team. So thank you very much, and thank you for building the economic development engine that's helping Morrisville grow and thrive.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. At this time, we're going to move on to our next presentation, our final presentation of the evening. Mark Spagnoli, our town engineer, will be facilitating this one. Mr. Spagnoli.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem and council members. Mark Spagnoli, Director of Engineering. We have a brief presentation this evening regarding our project update for Morrisville Carpenter Road. As you all know, we've been under construction for some time now, and we just wanted to give you an update on the project and give you some new information about some things that are upcoming as well that have become part of the project. Okay, so just a quick scope overview. Most of you should know this by now, but just to go over it as a quick update. The project limits go from Davis Drive to the railroad tracks, NC 54. We're widening the existing road from a 2-lane road to a 4-lane divided road, and we're installing a landscape center median throughout most of the section. There'll be sidewalks throughout, curb and gutter. We're repaving the road from one end to the other. There'll be street lights. We're doing underground utility relocations, above ground utility relocations. We're doing some major stormwater and drainage improvements. We're making pedestrian safety improvements, vehicular safety improvements. We're providing a new connection to the Greenway at Town Hall Drive at Crabtree Creek Greenway. And we have a new section of Franklin up Church Street that's being constructed as well. So the project actually has 3 official construction phases, and see if I can get that back. Okay. It's moving by itself. Sorry about that. Okay, so there's 3 actual construction phases on this project. We are currently in phase 1 and a portion of phase 2. I know it's kind of small to read here, but I'm just going to give a quick overview. What you can see in yellow is phase one. So we're building the new Franklin Upchurch Senior Street as part of this phase. A portion of the culvert, which is where the stream comes through underneath Morrisville Carpenter Road, is being constructed now, as well as some roadway widening on Town Hall Drive and on both sides of Morrisville Carpenter Road. We're also doing a portion of phase two right now, which includes some additional roadway widening, the new entrance drive to the Morrisville Square Shopping Center, and eventually we'll get into the second half of the culvert construction as well into phase three. So currently, and as you all know, we started at the end of January. The project officially started construction. Our contractor is Carolina Sunrock, and our construction engineering and inspection firm is SEPI. They've been working with us very well. The team is working every day on the project as long as weather's permitting. We're currently in phase one and a portion of phase two. We're about 60% through the project now. We've been working diligently on the culvert construction, which is two large box culverts, or basically large pipes that are in the shape of a square. And you'll see a picture of on the next slide that we're working on. And as soon as we finish completing those, we'll be backfilling that area with fill material and completing the paving section that runs along the south side in preparation for our upcoming phases. As well, you've seen a lot of paving work going on and sidewalk construction. So the project has had some challenges, nothing that we have not been able to overcome. As you can imagine, there's a number of utilities that we've been working with throughout the project that need to be relocated. Many of the utilities we relocated prior to this physical construction with Carolina Sunrock, but there's still some minor relocations we've had to handle throughout the construction project. And we've been working very closely with all these entities. In addition, you have obviously traffic control. We have an existing roadway with traffic still driving through the construction site, so we have to be very careful with our construction cones and barrels and signage to ensure safety for the motorists and pedestrians. Of course, we have weather issues. A lot of you may not know, but the existing culvert that runs underneath Morrisville Carpenter Road that provides the water to pass through for the stream is in very, very poor condition. We've had to stabilize that many times, and we've avoided failure, luckily, but that has been quite a challenge for us. But we've worked through those issues through construction. So upcoming activities, we're going to continue and complete phase one and our continuation of phase two. So far, it looks like late February, we're going to be doing our lane shift, where we move traffic that's currently flowing from the north side of the road onto the newly constructed south side along Morrisville Carpenter. The folks that live close to Franklin Upchurch will be able to start using that portion of roadway that we built and come out the Town Drive to exit from their area. And also the Town Hall Drive traffic will shift from the side that it's on now to closer to Town Hall itself. So that's going to be happening at the end of February. And we're still pretty much on track to complete the project towards late summer, early fall, as we had anticipated. So we have some new information we certainly wanted to share with the council and to the public. As you all know, we've been working very closely with the community. There's been some concerns about the existing crosswalks we have, one at Old Savannah and the other one close to Wrangling. Those are crosswalks that cross Morrisville Carpenter Road today. And we currently have the rapid beacon flasher systems there that are solar powered that sort of provide a yield scenario for pedestrians to cross. So we've been working closely with the community. We've also recently gotten permission from NCDOT to make some modifications to those two locations. And what we've come up with is we're proposing to install a fully signalized intersection at Old Savannah and Morrisville Carpenter Road, and also the installation of what's called a high-intensity activated crosswalk beacon signal at Wrangler. And I'll show some images of what those are, just so everybody understands what those are. So those will replace the existing amber signals that are there now. So just to give you a basic example, which we're all everything's moving around. Sorry about that. Okay, so what we're proposing at Old Savannah and Morrisville Carpenter is your basic fully signalized intersection. There'll be signals for all directions, whether you're coming north, south, or east, west. There'll also be 4 crosswalk legs throughout the intersection, so you'll be able to come up to the corner, push a crosswalk signal, and that'll activate, and you'll be able to cross safely like you would at any fully signalized intersection with a pedestrian pedestal-mounted signals. So that's our proposal for Old Savannah. NCDOT has permitted that, and we're in the process of getting those designed right now. So our goal is to have this implemented as part of the construction of the project. That way, it's not a separate project. We can just do this towards the tail end of construction. So at Wrangler Street, we're proposing what's called in the industry it's acronymed HAWK. This is actually a signal that if a pedestrian walks up to it, they push the signal, and the overhead signals there will go into a flashing yellow sequence, followed by a solid yellow, and then into a solid red, which means the vehicles will have to come to a complete stop. And then once that occurs, the actual crosswalk signals for the pedestrian will light up walk and allow them to cross and then go into the do not walk. So this is actually a safer standard that DOT is starting to move towards, that's going to be implemented here at Wrangler Street to provide safe crossing at the at the Greenway. And we just wanted to give you an update on the costs of all this. So this project, the Morrisville Carpenter Road project, has actually a funding split with DOT, 70%, 30% for the town. In this case, we would be responsible 100% for the design of the 2 signals, which comes out to $25,000. And then we would be splitting the cost of the actual construction of the signal. So our total estimated all-in cost for this implementation is $145,000. We think it's an excellent opportunity since we have this funding split. The project's already in play. They've given us permission to install these signals. And we do have contingency money in the project that was approved by the council when we went to contract award that can cover these costs. So we feel confident this is a great time to get this done, and we're working towards making that happen. Does anybody have any questions?
Thank you for a great presentation. I'd like to recognize Councilmember Garamella, followed by Councilmember Scroggins-Johnson, please.
Hey, thanks, Mark. My question is about this traffic light signal. Do you have a U-turn? Because that is where the people can go back to the communities which are divided by the median. You're on mute.
I think I clicked it the wrong way back. So, yes. So in the case of, for example, the Misty Groves, they exit the community. They'll have to be making a right turn. They will not be able to make a left turn. And they'll have an opportunity to make a U-turn from their location at Town Hall Drive. And there'll be a signal there and an availability for them to make a U-turn. If they're coming in the other direction, they would be making the U-turn at the signal here that we're proposing at Old Savannah. Yes, that's correct.
Okay, so it's kind of both ways, right? Like, U-turn from going from Davis, that they want to take a U-turn, and then the other way too, right?
That's correct. That's correct.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you. This is a good update. And what about the one where Garrett Road, like, the one subdivision before that, like, or Steve Street, wherever.
Wrangling?
So
I think
in
you're talking about
Wrangling,
Ridgemont.
Yeah, Ridgemont, yeah.
so all the other locations, since the other communities have multiple ingress and egress, or more than one.
No, I'm not worried about the traffic light, but at least can you then shift this blinker, the pedestrian blinker, to Bridgemont then, because that will at least help them.
I see what you're asking. So this is what the DOT considers as limited access. So it would be highly unusual for them to grant another crossing with having the distance so close between Wrangling, Old Savannah, and then another crossing at Town Hall. It would be unusual for them to grant another mid-block crossing or another crossing somewhere else on the project at this time.
Okay, thank you.
Councilmember Scroggins Johnson, followed by Councilmember Rao, please.
Thank you, Mayor. First of all, I'd like to say thank you so much for working on the crosswalk challenges. This has been very difficult for the community. There's been many near misses. There's been a lot of speeding, and there have been, unfortunately, several accidents that were of a very serious nature. So this looks very promising as far as flow. And I'm kind of excited that there's full signalization at Savannah, because it's not just good for the communities along Morrisville Carpenter Road, but Misty Grove really has a difficult challenge with right in, right out. And I'm really hoping that they'll be able to safely do U-turns to be able to have a little bit more consistent and reliable access to their neighborhood. And all of this traffic is going to shift. I mean, we know that there's a lot of communities coming online along Morrisville Carpenter Road towards Cary, and that's going to affect behaviors as well. So hopefully these signals and safer pedestrian crossings will help lessen those injuries and, issues that we've faced over the last several years. 4 lanes is a big difference, though. I think it's going to be almost a year before we start to see what it really is going to look like. I mean, this is good starting. I do have a question. Do you still want to hear community comments about this? I think this is the first night you've officially talked to the council and the public about this phase 3 and some of the new elements. So not to change anything, just to maybe hear a little bit about whether the entrances to Savannah are going to change, in what ways would those be anticipated?
Yes, it actually makes sense. We wanted to get some of the design developed a little bit, because right now I have some photographs that I took of other intersections that would help us determine what kind of impacts, if any, there might be to the corners and things of that nature. So that makes sense. At that time, we'll go back and just give the community an update about what we're doing.
Very good. So, I mean, what I know that they would be asking about if monuments or entrances would be modified and how that would be affected. And then the second crosswalk with the full signal is a very positive, making the traffic stop is a really good improvement. I've seen a lot of people going through that yellow signalized crosswalk, and it's been kind of scary sometimes. So that, I think, will help people understand what is expected with this more robust signal. So thank you very much, everyone, for their help and assistance. Assistant Town Manager Zudova, I know you've been the front line of a lot of challenges as well. So we appreciate your work on this as well.
Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Rao. I'm sorry to interrupt. Councilmember Scroggins Johnson, you are done?
Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Rao, followed by myself, please.
Well, first of all, I really appreciate Councilmember Garamola's question about Ridgemont. I was going to ask that question, but I want to thank him for being so insightful. And I agree with Councilmember Scroggins-Johnson, many of the points he made, particularly about the crosswalks. It's a little bit off topic from Morrisville Carpenter. I know that staff, Mark, has been talking with DOT, but regard to the golf crossing on Morrisville Parkway, do you see that it would be perhaps possibly something like that, something that gives more visibility to that area? And you don't have to answer the question today. I just want to throw that out there. I know staff has been meeting, and I've been getting some questions about that, and I just wanted to get your high-level opinion on that.
So, Mark, if it's okay, I'll jump in.
Sorry. Okay. Yeah.
No worries. Mark hasn't been directly involved, and again, we can talk more offline.
Right.
But we are working to support communications and efforts between the Country Club and DOT to address that issue on their highway there on Morrisville Parkway.
All right. So these kinds of options could possibly be something we just don't know, but we are. Okay. Well, I didn't mean to get off topic of the Carpenter Road, but thank you for a great presentation, Mark. It was very, very informative. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Excellent. I'll go, and then Mayor Pro Tem. Two quick questions. For those people who aren't already getting the weekly updates, is there some easy way for them to stay informed on a weekly basis? Because those are very helpful.
Yes, we're going to be providing some of this information, or all of this information, on our website, so they can log in and see it, even if they're not part of the text messages or automatic email blast. So yeah, we'll be putting that information to the public shortly.
Okay, and they can sign up for those automatic texts and email blasts if they wish on that site.
Absolutely.
Okay, excellent. You mentioned the Greenway connection in your presentation. Do you happen to know which phase that might be completed and able to be used to sort of connect those two sides of town through walking and biking?
Yes. So I'm thinking that that connection is going to be coming very soon. We are preparing that intersection now for the changeover that's going to happen at the end of February. So it could be as soon as March, Mayor. I could confirm that, but I'm pretty certain it'll be when we do that changeover.
That's wonderful news. I know a lot of people are looking forward to being able to do that. I know I am. Mayor Pro Tem Johnson, please.
Thank you, and thank you, Mark. This is a long time in the making, a lot of effort behind the scenes, and I appreciate your efforts. And thank you, Councilmember Scroggins-Johnson, for recognizing Assistant Town Manager Zudema, too. He's been working this for many, many months. So I know the citizens that are going to use these two crosswalks are going to be very pleased. So thank you, Mark. I just want to make sure and thank you, Councilmember Rao, for asking about the Morrisville Parkway connection. That was the other, or the Morrisville Parkway issue. So I'm happy to hear that little bit of an update. But I want to clarify, make sure I heard you correctly when you talked about the Wranglin Street and the what did you call that again, by the way, Mark?
The industry acronym is HAWK, like a hawk, like a bird.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So that HAWK, did I hear you right? You said that DOT is now more receptive to using that and is pleased with that solution, that HAWK solution?
Yes. So it's becoming more of an industry standard. Prior to this, it was pretty much the flashing yellow strobes that we've implemented some time ago. There are certain thresholds that have to be met in terms of pedestrian counts and so forth, but they are more amenable to installing things like this. I think, in this particular case, we saw it as an opportunity because we could put in a little bit of money and they can put in the rest. Generally, they like most governments, it's hard to get every intersection implemented because of the costs, but this one met the mustard, and we're ready to go ahead with it.
Okay, great. Thank you. Because I just want to kind of keep that in the back of our heads for future. There potentially could be some other opportunities where this Hawk solution would be a good fit. So I'm happy to hear that. And yeah, understand there's got to be criteria. That makes obviously a lot of sense. But okay, thank you, and thank you for all your efforts.
You're welcome.
Great news.
Anytime.
Yep, you're managing a whole lot of moving parts. That's a very large project. Any final thoughts, Mr. Spagnoli, before we let you go?
No, I think everything's going very well. It's been very successful so far. We're over what I consider the major hump of construction. Some of the major underground work is pretty much full on, almost completed. So we're coming to the softer part where we don't see any major obstacles that are going to keep us from getting the project completed.
Okay, excellent. Thank you very much. Keep up the great work. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
At this time, Town Clerk Smith will now present any public comments received.
One public comment was received from Nathan Click, 144 Black Ridge Street, Morrisville. Good evening, members of Morrisville Town Council. My wife, 4 children, and I have been residents of Morrisville for the last 7 years. I would have spoken to you in person tonight if not for the COVID restrictions. Thank you for taking steps to keep us safe during this pandemic. Tonight, I encourage you as a Town Council to pass a town-wide non-discrimination ordinance to bring full civil rights protections to everyone living, working, and enjoying life in Morrisville. The word is out about how wonderful our town of Morrisville is. It's a tribute in no small part to the smart decisions by those of you in civic leadership. To quickly review, Morrisville was ranked by Money Magazine as one of the 10 best places to live in the U.S. Morrisville was just labeled an All-America city. One online journal ranked Morrisville as the best place to live in North Carolina. And we can send a signal to the world that Morrisville is the best place to live for all North Carolinians in North Carolina. We can do that by passing a non-discrimination ordinance that sends a clear signal that Morrisville is welcoming to all people of color, all ethnicities, to our friends in the LGBTQ+ community, to the disabled, the elderly, people of all religions, veterans, and everyone. Since December of 2020, at least 12 North Carolina municipalities have passed non-discrimination ordinances. Half of those are right here in the Triangle. They are the City of Durham, the towns of Apex, Carborough, Chapel Hill, Hillsborough, and the County of Orange. Morrisville should be part of that list as well. We are in the heart of the Research Triangle Park, where many great forward-thinking employers have strong policies of inclusion. We should support those great employers and their great employees, many of whom live here in Morrisville. Standing up for equality is also important as we consider the climate we are in. We have some state leaders trying to divide people against each other. Morrisville can send a signal that this is a great town that wants to include all people in continuing to make this North Carolina's best place to live, work, and enjoy a great quality of life. Thank you for your time and consideration. Again, the recent positive recognition of Morrisville is a testament to the smart, progressive decisions by town leadership. A non-discrimination ordinance will send the right signal to the world that we are on the right path. This comment was provided to council in its entirety and will be entered into the public record. That is the only public comment received.
Thank you very much, sir. Appreciate it. Moving on to item 10, public hearing. There are 2 public hearing items on tonight's agenda: a proposed amendment of the zoning map for 3713 Davis Drive and items related to the annexation of 245 and 259 Aviation Park. Kate Murdoch, Planner 1, will facilitate the first public hearing item. But first, before I recognize her, I want to just acknowledge that for public address, we do not address those comments and the input that we get directly, but that is something that we have been working on. So, Ms. Murdoch.
Good evening, Council. It's good to see you all again. So I don't have too many updates for you this evening regarding the zoning map amendment for 3713 Davis Drive. As a brief refresher, just one moment, apologies. Computer's a little bit slow here. This is for the property just across the street from Wegmans on Davis Drive. It's highlighted in the red here. Currently zoned for neighborhood activity center, and the applicant has requested to rezone to the conditional corridor commercial zoning district. They plan to put Chapel Hill Tire on the site. Last week, I know that there were some questions from council regarding potentially including automobile service station as a prohibited use in the conditions. And after speaking with the applicants after the last meeting, they agreed. And so they have added that into their proposed conditions to make sure that there's no gas stations that get developed on this site. I also know that council had a question last week regarding one of the properties to the north that's in the town of Cary. We had said that it was our understanding that State Employees Credit Union had some plans there, and so we did a little more digging and spoke with some of the planning staff at town of Cary. And just to kind of update you guys a little bit more on that, State Employees Credit Union applied for and was able to successfully rezone that property, so it's still in their town of Cary's business and commercial district. But as of currently, the town of Cary does not have any development plans in on that parcel. Aside from that, nothing else has changed on this item. I know that we still have the public hearing open last week. Do you have any further questions for me before we maybe choose to take action on this item?
Okay. Does anyone have any questions for staff? Okay, seeing none. Were there any public hearing comments submitted on this item?
No, sir, there were not.
Okay, and that's been open for a couple of weeks. At this time, we received information that we no longer have to keep a public hearing open for 24 hours after the meeting. I'd like to recognize Lori Jones, our attorney, to just confirm that before we entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
Yes, Mayor, that's correct.
Okay, thank you very much. That's quick and easy. At this time, I would entertain a motion to close the public hearing. I'd like to recognize Mayor Pro Tem Johnson.
I'll make that motion to close the public hearing on this item.
I'd like to recognize Councilmember Fender.
I second that.
Okay, thank you very much. So there was one other item. So it was brought to staff's attention. They spoke to the applicant about prohibiting service stations. And I just want to get affirmation from the rest of the council that we would like that to stay included as a prohibited use. If you'd like to comment on that, I'll assume that it's okay to stay in there unless I hear from anybody, because that's how we said we'd handle it, because that was suggested, but not affirmed by the entire council at that time. Okay, great. Looks like everyone's okay with that. At this time, I'd entertain a motion and a second to adopt ordinance 2021-504-0. Okay, I'd like to recognize Councilmember Rabadi, please.
I make a motion that we adopt ordinance 2021-407-0.
Okay. Do we need to read that in its entirety, or is that sufficient?
Eric, do we have the motion script available?
Yeah, I got it. I make a motion that we approve ordinance 2021-407-0, approving a zoning map amendment for 3713 Davis Drive, property located along the west side of Davis Drive and south of the intersection of Davis Drive and Airport Boulevard to the conditional corridor commercial zoning district, Res 21-0004.
Okay. And I think I might have said the wrong one earlier when I called for the motion, but I believe that this is the correct one that Councilmember Rabadi just read. Staff could just go ahead and confirm that. That'd be great.
Actually, I apologize for any confusion. The correct number is the 504.
Okay, we're going to start again then.
Apologies. There was some confusion in Peak when this was getting created.
That happens. Councilmember Rabati, if you'd be so kind, 504 this time.
Okay. I make a motion that we approve ordinance 2021-504-0, approving a zoning map amendment for 3713 Davis Drive, property located along the west side of Davis Drive and south of the intersection of Davis Drive and Airport Boulevard to the Conditional Corridor Commercial Zoning District, Res 21-0004.
Thank you. I'd like to recognize Mayor Pro Tem Johnson.
I'll second the motion.
Thank you. And I'd like to further recognize Councilmember Johnson for identifying the incorrect number. So make sure that we're doing everything right. We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion on this motion? Seeing none, Town Clerk Smith will do a roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Robati,
Aye.
Councilmember Scroggins Johnson,
Aye.
Councilmember Garamella,
Aye.
Councilmember Rao,
Aye.
Councilmember Fedner,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Johnson,
Aye.
Mayor Cawley.
Aye.
The motion to approve ordinance 2021-504-0 passes unanimously.
Thank you, sir. This time, I'd like to recognize Caleb Allred, Planner 1, who will facilitate the next item.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Caleb Allred, Transportation Planner 1. Back to you again with the petition for annexation for 245 and 259 Aviation. Thanks, Eric. I don't have any updates for you guys tonight. Tonight well, my computer's acting a little slow too here. I apologize. Tonight you'll have you're scheduled to have your public hearing. And council is asked to vote once your public hearing is over.
Okay. I go ahead and declare the public hearing to be open. Were there any public hearing comments?
No, sir, there were no comments received.
Okay. Does any council member have any questions for staff? Okay. It was duly noticed a couple of weeks ago that this public hearing would be open. Because of that, I do feel comfortable opening it and closing it in the same night. Everyone had an opportunity to submit their comments. If anyone feels differently, speak up now or vote against closing the public hearing. At this time, I'd entertain a motion to close the public hearing. I'd like to recognize Mayor Pro Tem Johnson, please.
I'll make that motion, but can we also just make sure there were no comments received?
Yes,
verify that.
Can we re-verify that there were no public comments received, please?
Yes, sir, there were no public comments received regarding the item.
Okay, does that meet your needs, Mayor Pro Tem? Thank you.
I will. I'll make a motion to close the public hearing.
Okay, I'd like to recognize Councilmember Rabati.
I second the motion.
Okay, any discussion on that motion? Okay, Town Clerk Smith will do a roll call vote.
Councilmember Garamella,
Aye.
Councilmember Scroggins Johnson,
Aye.
Councilmember Rao,
Aye.
Councilmember Fender,
Aye.
Councilmember Robati,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Johnson,
Aye.
Mayor Cawley.
Aye.
The motion to close the public hearing passes unanimously.
Okay. At this time, I'd entertain a motion to adopt and second ordinance 2021-502-0 in its entirety. I'd like to recognize Councilmember Rabati.
I make a motion that we adopt ordinance 2021-502-0 of the Morrisville Town Council pertaining to the extension of the Town of Morrisville corporate limits to include property located on Aviation Parkway north of its intersection with Liberty Hill Pass, commonly known as 245 and 249 Aviation Parkway, ANX 2021-0003.
If I could make a request and you reread that last sentence, known as, I think I misheard something.
Okay, I make a motion that we adopt ordinance 2021-502-0 of the Morrisville Town Council pertaining to the extension of the Town of Morrisville corporate limits to include property located on Aviation Parkway north of its intersection with Liberty Hill Pass, commonly known as 245 and 259 Aviation Parkway, ANX 2021-0003.
Thank you very much for giving you double duty every time. Sorry about that. I have a motion. Waiting a second. I will go ahead and make that second, Mayor Cawley. Any discussion on that motion in second? Okay, Town Clerk Smith will please do a roll call vote on that motion.
Councilmember Fender.
Aye.
Councilmember Scroggins Johnson.
Aye.
Councilmember Robati.
Aye.
Councilmember Garamella.
Aye.
Councilmember Rao.
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Johnson.
Aye.
Mayor Cawley.
Aye.
The motion to approve ordinance 2021-502-0 passes unanimously.
Thank you very much. We have our break scheduled at 7:30. We're a little bit ahead of schedule. If it's okay with everybody, we can just get a couple more items in. We're taking a break. Looking for chat if anyone needs a break, just speak up now and we'll happily do that. Okay, we're going to keep it moving a little bit. We're on item 11, action items. There is one action item on tonight's agenda, a fee waiver authorization for Science 37. Martha Page, our town manager, will facilitate this item. Ms. Page.
Thank you, Mayor. And Linda is going to complement my introduction of this item. Town Council met in closed session on November 23rd to consider what Linda referenced a little bit earlier as Project Bear, which we now know is Science 37 and for which an announcement was made, I believe, late in December, that they were coming to Perimeter Park from California. They are a complementary life sciences company in that they offer clinical testing that is remote, that is anticipated to expand opportunities for those clinical trials. It is a unique economic development project in that their capital investment is lower than our thresholds. However, as Council discussed in closed session, it is complementary to the life sciences that are coming to Morrisville. They are creating jobs at a high wage, and we wanted to be able to support their opportunity to get a JDIG grant at the state level. As a result, Council authorized some waiver of some development fees that they will owe to the town of Morrisville as they bring in their site plan renovations. Town Attorney Gray has drafted a letter that would give that authority to staff to develop the processes to waive those fees as they would come into town. Linda, is there any comments that you want to add that I may have missed in the quick update?
Thank you, Town Manager Page. I have been in contact with the consultant, the CEO, and the PR firm for Science 37 on a weekly basis since the announcement was made. They are still negotiating on 2 different properties in Perimeter Park, so there is not one single identified site at this point in time tonight. I did notice on their website they are now listing North Carolina as their headquarters rather than Culver City, California, so we are seeing progress. And they also wanted to make sure that I expressed to council their gratitude for approving this in order to provide access to the JDIG.
Thank you, Linda. Mayor and Town Council, we have a resolution that authorizes the waiver of the fees of up to $5,000 for Science 37. Again, we would develop some processes so that as they would come to the town, they would know how to request that waiver, and we would be able to process it internally on our end. And I'm happy to answer any questions as well.
On behalf of everybody, we want to thank staff and the Chamber for bringing this forward and making all this possible. Thank you for creating this opportunity for the town, and we thank Science 37 as they thank us. Anyone have any questions before we entertain a motion? Okay, is there a motion and second to adopt Resolution 2022-02-0? I'd like to recognize Councilmember Rabati, please.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I thought it was seconded. I make a motion that we, do I have to read the whole resolution?
I would defer to staff on that question. I think just that top line would be fine.
Yes, Councilmember Rabati, if you just read the header, that would be sufficient, please.
Okay, so I make a motion that we adopt Resolution 2022-02-0 of the Morrisville Town Council, authorizing development fee waivers for Science 37.
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem Johnson?
I'll second.
Thank you very much. Any discussion on this motion? Okay, Town Clerk Smith will do a roll call, please.
Councilmember Robati?
Aye.
Councilmember Scroggins Johnson?
Aye.
Councilmember Rao?
Aye.
Councilmember Garamella?
Aye.
Councilmember Fender?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Johnson?
Aye.
Mayor Cawley?
Aye.
Mayor Cawley?
Aye.
The motion to approve Resolution 2022-02-0 passes unanimously.
Thank you very much. And thank you again, Ms. Frenette. Great job. And thank you to staff. At this point, we're at item 12, future meetings, events, and citizen involvement opportunities. Once again, Western Wake Farmers Market is every Saturday from 9:30 a.m. until noon. Very exciting. Tomorrow night, Wednesday, January 26th, please join us at 6 p.m. for a virtual town hall to learn about the proposed Master Sustainability Plan. We've collected your feedback, conducted a peer analysis, and performed a greenhouse gas inventory to help guide the development of the Master Sustainability Plan. Based on what we've learned, the team has assembled recommended goals, strategies, and actions that we will strive for to make Morrisville even more sustainable. Please join us to learn more and provide feedback prior to the plan's final finalization. So there's going to be a virtual Teams meeting, and you can go to Town of Morrisville MSD Sustainability Plan to get that link. We also have our winter meeting this weekend, Friday and Saturday. The sessions will be live streamed for the public. And please note the date for our next white goods collection, which will take place on Thursday, March 10th. For a full listing of events, please see the town calendar at www.townofmorrisville.org. At this time, we are going to move to item 13, which is council and manager comments. First, I'd like to recognize Mayor Pro Tem Johnson, followed by Councilmember Garamella.
Thank you. So I only have two quick thank yous. First, I want to thank our Public Works staff for all their efforts over the last two snow events we've had and the work that they've done to keep us all able to move about town. So thank them very much. And also want to thank all our staff that was involved in the town center information sessions that were online last week or held virtually. I attended both, and I thought they were very, very well done. So kudos to Assistant Manager Brandon Zudema for masterminding both of those and keeping them running as smoothly and as informatively as they were. So thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Garamella, please, followed by Councilmember Scroggins-Johnson.
Thanks, Mayor. I echo seeing what Liz has talked about, and a lot of residents have kudoed Public Works for their excellent job of cleaning up the roads, and an extra kudo to Brandon too. I was surprised, he behind the wheels and taking up and plowing the roads. I don't know what's next. He can do, police work, and he's on the Wake County Fire Commission, so it might be he'll drive a truck next. So I'm just saying, I never expected anything out of the blue from him. But thanks, Brandon, and the entire Public Works. Excellent job.
Excellent. I'd want to see more photos of that. Councilmember Scroggins-Johnson, followed by myself.
Thank you. I'd just like to shout out to our Public Works Department for an excellent job keeping us safe during the last winter storm. There is projections there might be even more winter, imagine that, in January, but I know that we will be okay with our Public Works. And as we look to the future on improving the facility for our Public Works, I think we need to remember days like these just in our recent past and how important it is to give them the right facilities to continue to do excellent work. I'd also like to mention that we have had a lot of success for our senior center. A lot of events have been well attended. I went to the event where Mr. and Mrs. Santa Claus came, and they had a holiday festival event, and it was completely packed in that facility. And it just made me think that we are probably already outgrowing that wonderful space that we've been using for the senior center. So as we plan and look ahead, I encourage the council and others to think about what's next. This never was going to be a permanent location for the senior center, but I don't know what's next. We do need to think about a larger facility in the future. I'm not sure of the time frame, but I was really happy to see how enthusiastic everybody was over the holidays and at the grand opening. And I know the programming is very filled up each and every time. So that's all I had for tonight, and I look forward to the winter meeting that we have at the end of the week and weekend.
Thank you very much. Now it's my turn to be followed by Councilmember Rabadi. So I'd like to echo all the thanks to Public Works. I also want to thank our communications department, who I think did a really good job of sharing a lot of information that was important about the weather as things went on. Thank you to both those departments and all of staff who's trying to keep us safe through the weather events. I'd encourage all the residents and businesses and visitors to continue with the 3 Ws. Looks like hopefully Omicron is starting to fade a little bit, but we need to keep our guard up, keep on wearing a mask and being careful to keep it going in the right direction. So appreciate everyone who continues to do that, and vaccinations and boosters are still the best thing to prevent serious illness. I'd like to now pass it to Councilmember Rabadi, followed by Councilmember Fender.
Thank you, Mayor. So my husband, who thank God is both vaccinated and very careful about wearing a mask and almost never leaves our house, was diagnosed with COVID and spent most of last week in the ICU. He was very near death last Monday, and I just want to encourage everyone to please wear a mask and get vaccinated. Nobody likes this. Nobody wants to do it. I certainly am over it and have been for some time. But, I think that there's something about seeing someone that you love struggling to breathe, hearing that they might not make it, that really brings home that this is real and it's not going away until we all work together to end it. So those are my comments for tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm glad he's doing better. Councilmember Pender, followed by Councilmember Rao.
Hey, my cat was just taking this moment about to walk across in front of the screen. But first, I totally back up Councilmember Robati's plea, and that we all need to get vaccinated. And I think it's our duty as citizens of a community to do our part to help keep everyone safe. We all need to pitch in and get vaccinated, get boosted, and wear a mask. Anyway, I could go on and on about that. But and then lastly, I just want to inform everyone that with COVID, the hospitals are having a severe shortage of blood because of people staying away from the donor centers. So our neighborhood, Kitts Creek, is hosting a blood drive Thursday, January 27th, from 1 to 6 p.m. It will be here in our clubhouse parking lot, and I would encourage anyone who is able to, you can, there's a link on my Facebook page, the Council Member Fender Facebook page. There's a link, but you can also go to thebloodconnection.org and put in our zip code, and it will take you to a listing of upcoming donation or blood drives in our area. And you'll see Kitts Creek neighborhood as being one of those. So please sign up as you can, if you can. I was just out there on the website, and there are at least 11 more slots still available. So I'd like to see all of those full by Thursday morning. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Rao, please.
Well, thank you, Mayor. Well, a couple things. Anne, I'm glad to know your husband is getting better, and we pray for his recovery. I wanted to, first of all, wish everyone a happy Indian Republic Day. Tomorrow is the day that India adopted its constitution in 1950, and want to just thank everyone in our community for celebrating that. I want to thank the Hindu Society of North Carolina for just doing a great job with testing, and just a reminder that in Wake County, the testing site starting tomorrow will be open from 11 to 7. They've changed their hours. There's a number of new sites they've added. There's places where they're dropping off N95 masks. So you can go to the Wake County COVID site to get all of that information. The final thing I will say, two things. First of all, on February 8th, the North Carolina Veterans Business Association is having their annual meeting. So you can go to NC Vet Biz if you're a veteran business to learn about resources. And also, there is something called the unclaimed employee retention tax credits, which if you're a small business, you can claim up to 70% of your W-2 employee salaries. And so if you go to unclaimedcredits.com, you can actually find out more about this program. It's retroactive, so for one more year, at least for a few months, if you haven't done it, you can. And some businesses have been getting up to $120,000 to $150,000. So not something we hear a lot about, but just wanted to, I'll be relaying that to the chamber. But thank you for a great meeting so far, and looking forward to seeing you all in person soon, and looking forward to the winter retreat. Thank you.
Okay. That W-2 tax info for small businesses sounds very great. It's good that you're putting that in front of the chamber as you share that out. At this time, I'd like to recognize Town Manager Page for any staff comments.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to pass this to Brandon, please.
Good evening, Mayor, members of council. Thank you for just a couple of minutes. Want to share with you that I think you heard from one of your peers and may have seen that Wake County has received a bulk distribution of N95 masks that they are attempting to get out into our communities. And we have been able to fortunately partner with them. So I was able to pick up a quantity of N95 masks today from Wake County, and we intend to begin distributing them to the community from Town Hall here in our lobby beginning on Thursday, January 27th. And those will be available for pickup between 8 a.m. and 6 p.m. on Thursday and Friday. And then again, we'll be posting all this information as well through our communications department. But Saturday, noon to 4 at Town Hall, Sunday, 10 to 2, and then again, Monday from 8 to 12. And if we have face coverings remaining, the N95s on Tuesday, February 1st from noon to 4. We are not asking for any ID when folks come in to pick these up. We're going to ask them to volunteer their address if they would, so we can better evaluate what portions of the community perhaps got the message or took advantage of the message to get N95s. We're going to allow each individual to receive one mask per family member residing in their home with a maximum of 6 per family. And we're asking that they only pick up masks for their own family and not for others. And again, they'll just need to come into Town Hall lobby to pick those up, leave their address if they're willing to do so, and they'll have to have a face covering on, of course, to come into Town Hall for that pickup. I want to remind everyone that we have them until they run out. I've had some conversation with Wake County about trying to get sort of a second load of those or a second quantity of those. So we're working on that, assuming that we may have some interest in this across the community, and we will keep everybody updated as to how that goes. And I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for Assistant Manager Zudema? I'd like to recognize Councilmember Rao, please.
Brandon, thank you for that information. I know you're going to be sending out a communication message, but I just wanted to I might have missed a connection here. You said it starts on Thursday, but is it also going to be distributed on Friday or just Thursday and Saturday? I'm sorry. I just wanted to know.
Both Thursday and Friday from 8 to 6 at Town Hall. And then again, Saturday, 12 to 4, Sunday, 10 to 2, Monday, 8 to 12, Tuesday, 12 to 4, again, assuming that we don't give out what we have at this time, which is entirely possible.
Okay. Thank you so much for stepping up and doing that for all of us.
Yeah, we really appreciate going to bat for the community. Thank you very much for coordinating with Wake County to receive those masks and make it really convenient for our residents and our business owners and things.
Yes, sir. Just another team effort to continue to do sort of our part to support community health and safety.
Excellent. Any other items from staff this evening?
I don't have anything else, Mayor. I don't know that Martha does.
Okay.
No,
Manager Page?
No, sir.
Okay. Thank you both very much. Really appreciate it. My clock on my computer says 7:21, so why don't we take a 15-minute break and reconvene at 7:37. Okay? So we're in recess till 7:37. Please let us know in chat when you've returned. You can turn off your microphones and cameras at this time. Thank you. Okay, is staff ready to resume?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Eric? Eric, you ready?
Yes, Mayor Kohler.
Thank you very much. It is 7:38. We're coming back into session. Thank you very much. We are at item 14, work session. There is one work session tonight, a Connect Morrisville Strategic Plan update. Erin L. Hudson, our Strategic Performance Manager, will facilitate the discussion. Ms. Hudson.
All right. Thank you, Mayor, members of the council, for sharing some time with me this evening. Let's see here. I have requested control, so I'm going to Zoom to make this fit the screen so that it scrolls correctly. There we go. There's a little bit of a delay. There we go. So quickly, just some work session objectives for tonight. Just want to share a quick recap with you all of what we've accomplished in 2021, set the stage for 2022, and some trends that we're seeing in the alignment of our plan and council meeting items, review some of the data just to really see what we're learning. My presentation is not terribly long, about 10 minutes or so, and then save time at the end for council questions and feedback. So this is a snapshot of some of our accomplishments since last spring, and as you can see, we've had a pretty busy 12 months. We received really good engagement during our outreach period back last spring from staff from the community in virtually 100% remote environment. You'll recall that Council adopted a 3 fiscal year plan last July that runs from July of 2021 to June of 2024. We wanted to find a way to re-engage staff. So last fall, we hosted an ice cream truck social. It was a way for us to be outdoors and socially distanced. And we were able to sort of have everyone come together, share some information. And we also distributed some swag to our staff, featuring some ties back to elements of the plan that had been updated, really with a usable and reusable theme. By the way, you're going to receive this same swag tomorrow with your retreat materials as you begin to prepare for some of this weekend's discussions. We also started an intense process to update our department business strategy plans late last fall. We're working to finalize those. Once those are finished, we'll have some additional updates to our town webpage and then also to Morrisville Pro, and I'll share a little bit more about that in a moment. I hope you're able to see the collaboration and engagement between both us and our stakeholders here and throughout this presentation. Sorry, very finicky. So I want to start by looking at plan and meeting item alignment, something that we've sort of historically done since we had our first strategic plan. For the period shown, we averaged alignment of about 6.5 action items per month. If you'll recall, we only tracked action items there at the start, and those highest tracking areas fell roughly under the same 3 goals. Goal 2, our highest alignment was at 27%, and the description of that goal is to enrich the quality of life through the preservation of natural resources, well-planned development, and strengthen neighborhood vitality. As you can see from some of those statements, development and infrastructure really remained elements of overall high importance. Goal 3, the highest alignment, was at 20%, and the description for that goal is to enrich the quality of life through programs, events, amenities, and services valued by the community. As we all know, engagement is really critical to the work of local government because we rely so heavily on the public, and our role is really to serve the public. And in Goal 5, the highest alignment is at 24%. The description for that goal is to deliver exceptional service with an engaged workforce that effectively manages public assets and promotes transparency. As noted there, we remain focused on customer service and really aligning our priorities and resources. So looking at our last 6 months a little more closely, we now select objective alignment for all agenda items, not just action items, and we're tracking a much larger number of items. So the trend is almost triple the amount of items we're tracking per month. We also track knowing that many items align with multiple objectives. For this period, we've averaged about 16 items per month aligning in various goal areas. The highest alignment point for each goal is noted, And you still may see a trend towards some of those same focus areas as the previous slide. But again, we now capture much more within each goal and objective area. So I want to give a little more clarification to that. Under Goal 2, the highest alignment is at 23%. The guiding documents referenced on the screen, like our land use plan and our Parks and Rec master plan, were all created with community input. None of those were created in a silo. Under Goal 3, the highest alignment was 48%. Our community events and programs are created and planned with community input and staff input. They're created with research and with a thoughtful approach. We have multifaceted engagement and outreach. We don't simply ask for feedback. An example that came to mind is our Engage Morrisville platform. Under Goal 5, the highest alignment is 24%. Professionalism and employee engagement are so important to this organization. We want to have the highest skilled, trained, and talented workforce to serve this community. We also use technology to ensure that we provide the right tools to do this work to the best of our ability. So a little further explanation on those last couple of slides. If you recall, we really made a strong effort to streamline our plan elements through the feedback that we received during our engagement processes last year. We're tracking a much higher number of items now, somewhat into broader categories with that streamlined effort. And we also know that we can capture more of that work into fewer buckets, so to speak. We're again also tracking all items now, all of our work items, not only action items that come before council. And because of that streamlining, we're really able to better understand some of those trends in that tracking. I hope that's really more clearly illustrated in those goal columns there at the bottom of the screen. So you might wonder, since you've only seen or heard me mention 3 of our 6 goals, are we missing anything? And so that answer, I would say, is no. From here, we have direction on where we can really increase our focus and efforts, but also know that we have a lot of great projects coming up. In the 3 goal columns that are listed here that we've not yet touched on, you can really see where our previous planning efforts align, showing both steps that the town of Morrisville, our staff, our community are taking to prepare for the future. The voter-approved bond funding for major projects and initiatives is highlighted in green. We've enhanced elements from our initial plan, like traffic management options and community education and safety preparedness. We've also enhanced and added elements. One of those is the small business focus. And we had our first ever small business intern last summer. We've continued with interest and support from both the staff and community for this effort. So we know it's important to tell our story with the community because it's really hard to see what work is being done in an image alone. Our strategic plan webpage was last updated in late July, early August of last year. It was enhanced with some graphics, photos, some data, some timelines, etc. We really look to update that page quarterly when and if there is information and new relevant data to share. Morrisville Pro updates that are scheduled to come is linking our department business strategy plans. As I mentioned, we're about a month behind on finalizing those for posting. We do plan to have those linked by early February. So I do want to take just a moment and talk about the delay in this part of our timeline. We originally thought that our department plans would probably be revised and ready to go within just a couple of months. We quickly learned that that was not going to be the case. And it's a good thing because if we had rushed that process, it would have provided a poor end product. And our departments and our community deserve better. And our staff has committed to providing quality plans that they can align with resources and use for guidance. We've enhanced relationships between each long-range department vision and budget and CIP planning. We've had incredible buy-in and support from senior management through their review and feedback. And what I mean by that is that none of these plans have simply gotten a rubber stamp. The final plans are thoughtful and robust and the result of months of cross-collaboration. So I think council and the community will be pleased with staff's efforts. So let's look at some user behavior in Morrisville Pro and see what our users are looking for. So our new visitors were really highly concentrated in February to April of last year, and that was really during our engagement and outreach period. And sort of outside of that time period, basically they find other ways to engage and access information that they need. We had a couple of really strong areas of growth. We had over 80% growth in page views over the previous year. Page views are defined as a page being loaded and reloaded in a browser. We could have visitors that knew the information they were seeking and go directly to that information. We also had over 200% growth in sessions over the previous year. Session can be multiple page views, events, or social interactions. Our users roughly stayed the same from 2020 to 2021. Difference in new and return users can be tracked. A user is defined as a single visitor. Excuse me. We had a difference of only about 30 users from 2020 to 2021, so not a ton of change there. I have to talk about the top viewed pages. This is always sort of one of my most intriguing analytics that I can pull. The McCrimmon Parkway extension is one of the major projects that we have listed in a drop-down, and it appeared in the top 5 pages 75% of the time. Now, if you'll remember, Morrisville Pro is not the main source of information that folks can go to, but it is a resource nonetheless. Goal number 1, improve transportation mobility, appeared in the top 5 67% of the time. So through 2021, we had road improvements, we had sidewalk improvements, our smart shuttle came into service. And then goal number 6, economic prosperity, appeared in the top 5 pages 42% of the time. We had a bond issuance. We had a lot of focus and discussion about economic growth and the challenges and preparing Morrisville for the future. And we signed an MOU on our town center development. We go back one more, sorry. I left out a very important comment. So if you flash back just a few slides, you notice that I mentioned the top 3 objective aligned areas for our town council work items over the last couple of years had really been under goals 2, 3, and 5. And that did not diminish the work or the relevance of the work that was being done or that work to come. And I think it's really important to focus on that. So think about that quarterly development report that was just shared by the Chamber. Goals 1 and 6 and our major projects and initiatives are all part of Morrisville's growth, and they're part of what the community and visitors are excited to see and about what is to come for Morrisville. So let's look at where our users live and how they reach us. We saw more access through a desktop than in previous periods, which was a little bit interesting. A possible explanation could be COVID. If users are not on the go or traveling, they may not be accessing that way as frequently. In some further research, I did see that there was a slight indication that users will defer to a mobile device for app-specific use and a laptop or desktop for regular sort of web-based searching. Morrisville has been referred to as the heart of the triangle, and I think that's really evidenced by recent economic development here and in the surrounding area. If you'll remember, we had a partner in expanding our Church Street Park for major cricket use who visited with us at our November 23rd meeting. Does anyone happen to recall where our partner and his family visited from? I'll give you a hint. It's very near city number 8 in that image on the right. And if you missed it on the previous slide, we had visitors from 5 of 7 continents in 2021. Corporations and investors look to guiding documents like strategic plans to help learn more about communities and organizations as they consider opportunities for growth. The analytics that we've pulled from Morrisville Pro suggest that we're hitting the mark. at this time with our deliverables and meeting the interests of our community. So what's next for us and where do we go from here? As mentioned, we're aligning our department business strategy plans with budget and CIP work. We're continuing alignment with our annual operating budget and our overall organizational goals. We'll be restructuring our goal teams and have them have a greater focus on data collection and analysis of organizational plan outcomes. And more importantly, we really want to do some periodic assessment with our stakeholders. Again, we received phenomenal feedback during our outreach period, but we don't want to wait for a specific point in time to ask folks how our plan is resonating with them or what they think about it. We want to plan smaller, more frequent, and more periodic check-ins. So we want to get some of those answers to some of those questions that we were noting previously. I'm certain that you all probably have some questions, which I'm happy to take at this time. And I'm also interested in knowing what you've heard from the community, if anything, specific to the Connect Morrisville strategic plan. So I'm happy to answer any questions at this time.
Okay, thank you very much. That was a very thorough presentation, and you went through it pretty quick. We appreciate getting it in advance. It helped as well. I'd like to recognize Councilmember Rao first with a comment, and then Councilmember Fender with a question.
Yeah, I mean, Aaron, this was just a fantastic presentation, and I think that it just sort of, this whole idea of this whole notion of focusing, on data and analytics, I think there's, really a good kind of connection with our technology department and the kinds of things we're doing with smart cities. But I think it's really important for the council to realize and staff to realize the opportunities of predicting, making assumptions, on, services and that we could deliver based on our demographics, based on, where the future is going, looking at who's visiting our websites and things like that. And even I've been reading up a little bit on kind of artificial intelligence and machine learning and how these data sets can actually be used. So you can even start making predictions, just based on future residents that are going to be moving in. So I think this is just the tip of the iceberg, but I really commend you and the staff for taking this to the next level and hoping that, any person out there in our community that has ideas, we have a lot of people in our community in data and analytics, and I would encourage them to share their ideas if they're watching tonight or listening of how we can continue to do that. So I just wanted to thank you so much. This was an excellent presentation.
Thank you.
Councilmember Fender, please, followed by myself. Councilmember Fender, there you go.
Yeah, thank you. Aaron, I just had a couple of questions to clarify some of your data. On the one slide where it had the percentages, it had a graph and the percentages. Let me see. I just had it up.
I'm going to move through the slides here on the screen. You tell me when I get there.
Yeah, it's toward the beginning. Yeah, the next one, if you don't mind. Yeah, so on this, no, I'm sorry. The one that says looking back. Yeah, that one.
This one? Okay.
Yeah, I'm just trying to understand what this is saying here. Maybe you explained it and it just didn't sink in. The percentages, like 27%, what is it a percentage of?
So that's a percent of the total plan action items that were brought to town council in that time period. So there were 202 action items over that 31-month period.
Okay. And so then that means 27% of the 202 action items were in alignment with goal 2.
Yes, that's
and then
correct.
20%. Okay. I get it.
Yeah.
So then, at another point, you were talking about the number of users in 2020 versus 2021. But I think, did you say there were 30 users or 30 user difference?
Yep, only a difference of about 30 users between 2020 and 2021. It just, I don't know if that's an anomaly. I don't know if there's any specific reason behind it. That's just the data that I saw. And that's total.
So then
users.
how many were total users?
I don't have that in front of me, but I can get that information and get it to you.
Okay. So like that graph down below, those are page views. So there was a peak of almost 700 page views in February.
Mm-hmm.
Is that okay?
Yeah, and that's what
and
we
then,
really.
Sorry, my last question is. I'm sorry. What?
No, I'm sorry. I didn't want to speak over you. That's when we really ramped up our outreach and engagement, when we sort of kicked off our update period. So that's really what I sort of attribute to that peak.
Okay, that makes sense. And then just to clarify, on your, I think it's on the next slide, but where it's different devices, I'm assuming desktop includes laptop?
For these purposes, yes, it does.
Okay, that's all I had. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And I just had a couple comments, one of which I know how difficult it is for departments as they're doing their day-to-day work to try to take off a chunk of time and plan into the future and expand their role and their capacity and things like that. So there's always a balance between focus on what you're doing and focus on what you want to be doing. And I really look forward to the re-looking at the engagement metrics and the metrics that you guys are using to analyze each department and whether or not you're meeting your goals. When those are created by the departments and they don't come down from above, there's more buy-in. So it sounds like you have a really good process in place to create a better future and good positive forward momentum that's driven by the staff who are boots on the ground and making these things happen. So I just want to say that it sounds like really got the things going, and this refresh, I'm really looking forward to seeing what comes of it and how we can support you guys as you move forward.
Thank you.
Are there any other comments or questions about what we've seen? Okay. I think we're all very excited about the department business plans and getting a look at that and having that being customer facing so our residents can take a look at that. I think that's going to be really important to really build the transparency and the trust as we show what we're doing, why we're doing it, and how we're doing it. I think that can only help us be a better governing body and staff for the entire town as we move forward. So unless there's anything else, we'll just move on to the next item. Thank you very much, Ms. Hudson. Great job.
Thank you.
Okay. At this time, I'd like to recognize Town Manager Page for our additional agenda item, the winter retreat.
Thank you, Mayor. Just wanted to provide a quick update. Have provided this information to council via email as we head into our meeting this weekend. Despite our best efforts to avoid COVID impacts and have an in-person meeting, circumstances haven't really lent themselves to that. After talking with council members and recognizing, trying to keep everyone continually safe, council did agree to sort of slightly alter the structure of what was our retreat weekend. You'll notice that we're not going to call it a retreat weekend anymore. We're going to call it a winter meeting, and I just want to express on behalf of staff, we're very appreciative that council will allow us to go forward in bringing you some of this information virtually. We think it's critical information for you to have as we start engaging in budget discussions, and that you get some updates on some of the topics that you've been working so hard on. In order to do that, we've revised the structure of the meeting, including calling it a meeting rather than a retreat. We as staff would like to provide opportunities perhaps in the spring, or when the weather is more cooperative, or when the COVID pandemic numbers continue to drop, to get back in person and engage in perhaps some of those site visits, and really for the council discussion about your own working relationships and the brainstorming that really has so much more value when you're in person and can see each other and talk to each other outside of an electronic device. We have continued the format of the agenda to kick off on Friday at 2 o'clock with presentations from each of our departments. Each of them will spend about half of a 10 to 15 minute block giving you some of the highlights. They're not going to read from their presentations. And then what we'd like to do is get an opportunity to collect your questions or comments and use a successful tool, which is our FAQ, to provide you additional feedback on any of the information that you see from the departments. That will allow you that insight into some of those budget items that they request as we go through the budget process. We'll kick off on Saturday morning with an ARPA update from Michael James, our Fiscal Recovery Officer, and then from there launch into a budget preview. After that, our town attorneys will cover the non-discrimination ordinance research and work that we've been doing as we move that item forward for an action item. After a lunch break, we will provide 2 content topics, a town center update and our intersection improvement updates. We've shortened the day, and we've included what we believe are ample breaks to you get away from the screen, take a stretch break during the day. The plan right now is for council to meet in person on Sunday here in council chambers, and that time would really be devoted without content driven by staff, but for council to talk about those topics of things that they are interested in. Should for some reason we not meet on Sunday, staff has already looked at our February calendar of meetings. February 15th in particular is a scheduled work session for town council. It already includes an allocation of about 90 minutes for town council roundtable and brainstorming. That time could be used in addition to time we had previously allocated for a presentation on the dog park. Don't worry, it's still coming, but we have been making lots of efforts to make sure that our public advisory committees are able to review and see those items before council, and the scheduling just didn't work, so we're just going to move it a little bit further into March. It's not an urgent item, but we have a block of time there for you, as well as some time in some of our other February meetings if that becomes an option we need to pursue. We are planning to deliver hard copies of materials to you, knock on wood, tomorrow evening, if not first thing Thursday morning, so that you'll have a little bit of time to just look at the content. Again, not a lot of homework for you to be prepared other than to be refreshed and ready to go. We always appreciate the extra time and effort you put into this meeting and moving our work forward. I'm happy to answer any specific questions. Otherwise, I'll just turn it back over to the mayor.
Okay. Does anyone have any specific questions about agenda items, order of agenda, want to discuss Sunday at all?
And if I may just add one thing I forgot, we will be streaming through our website so the public will be able to listen in to the Friday and Saturday sessions. For Sunday, if we're here on Sunday, we will audio tape that and we'll upload that at a later time. That will not be available for live streaming on Sunday.
Thank you. And I'd like to recognize Councilmember Scroggins-Johnson, please.
Thank you, Mayor. First of all, I'd like to thank staff for being able to be so flexible with this meeting. It's a significant meeting for staff and for council as we plan our next year's budget, and we also make sure that we're aware of where we're heading in the future. So looking forward to receiving all that information. I do want to talk specifically about my concerns about Sunday because of the current state with the infection rate. And thank you so much, Councilmember Robati, for sharing your challenges recently. I mean, my heart is just shattered knowing that someone in our own council has been so affected by COVID, and I'm really happy that your husband is doing better. We need to be cautious, and we don't need to meet in person on Sunday. I think council relationships are very, very important, but we are so lucky that we have not had any changes to the council membership. So the urgency to work through relationships and establish how we work together is not as pressing as it might have been had we changed one or two or three members on the council. So what I would like to do is postpone that section until we have an opportunity to meet in person, preferably without masks. Maybe we could do an outside kind of exercise in warmer weather. We do need to kind of address like pressing issues or, an open session. Sunday might not be the best time. Maybe that could be done in February. But the council relationships, I'd like to do more in person and, a little freer. Wearing a KN94 or an N95 mask for 3 or more hours and actively talking and discussing in person is not something that I think I would feel comfortable doing. It's hard to talk through those masks, and we might not get the effect and the result that we want. But those are my concerns, and I just wanted to hear from other council members. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Rabati, please.
I would support postponing Sunday. I was thinking the same thing. I thought maybe I was overreacting to last week, but truthfully, I don't want to go into the council chambers on Sunday either.
Councilmember Pender, please.
I agree. I would be in favor of postponing Sunday. I mean, as you can tell, I'm coming in the process of coming out of having a cold. I hope it's a cold. I was tested last week for COVID and it was negative, and I plan to get tested again this week. And I just think it's better to be safe than for us to meet later. And I'm always in favor of meeting outside as opposed to being indoors all day or half a day.
Okay, thank you. Mayor Pro Tem Johnson.
So first, I want to kind of echo what several of you have said. This is not the ideal situation that we wanted to be in. This is not the way we wanted to have a winter meeting or retreat or whatever you want to call it. So we do need to be flexible. And I too, Councilmember Fender brought the idea up of meeting outside when the mayor and I talked to her a couple of days ago. And I think that's a really good idea. We wait for warmer weather and are outside, we know for sure, well, I shouldn't say for sure, but we can predict or not predict, we can hope that that will be a safe thing to do in a couple of weeks. So I agree with that. I think it's going to be really difficult to talk with an N95 for 3.5, 4 hours. So I'm also, I'll leave it at that. We'll wait to hear from others.
Okay. I'll chime in. I was hoping we'd get a chance sooner rather than later. I'm hoping that mask wearing will not be as necessary soon. I would also be in favor of some kind of outdoor meeting. I know around town we have some facilities that could meet that need, but I understand the concerns. Safety is always paramount. So I would also support postponing at this time, because that seems to be the consensus of what I've heard so far. And I'd like to recognize Councilmember Rao, please.
Yeah, Mayor, mine, I concur delaying it, and mine was a comment I had forgot to mention during my comments, which I do believe is important for the staff to hear, if you wouldn't mind, or I could wait till we're done this. Sorry.
Why don't we go ahead and finish this first?
All right, I'll wait until after we're done. So please and then I'll come back. Thank you.
Okay. Would anyone else like to weigh in? I'd like to recognize Councilmember Garamella, please.
No, I agree too. I think this is a wise decision not to have it in person on Sunday, but at the same time, I was thinking if we have an opportunity to have online, if there's any action items or, pending things that we could do remotely, I would be in favor for a 2-hour block so that that eases up our, council meeting schedules. Martha, that's for you if you think that's any worthwhile.
So I'll add all of these things that we will be presenting to you are building blocks. We are really not seeking any action on any of the items that you will be hearing from. Thoughtful, probing discussion, of course, for sure. But there's really not any action items. We're trying to build on the decisions that you're going to see and a delivery of a budget process that council wants to be actively engaged in. That is my comment. Staff can do whatever the will of the consensus of council is.
No, I meant to say for Sunday, if we are not meeting, if you wanted to use that opportunity to knock off any of the work session items, for an hour or two at that time, we are more than willing if it's anywhere remote, so that your future.
Yeah, I appreciate that very much, but they're probably not ready if they're scheduled in advance.
Okay, sounds good.
Thank you.
Okay, so sounds like we have consensus around Friday and Saturday, and that Sunday can go away, but we've heard from everybody. If anyone wants to make a second comment, now is a good time. I'd like to recognize Mayor Pro Tem Johnson.
So now that we kind of have settled that, as we think about how we're going to incorporate the Sunday event at some future meeting, can we start figuring that out sooner than later? I just want to make sure we get whatever it is on our calendar sooner than later, Martha. I think it's always it just will be easier the longer time we have to plan than to do something and nobody, and some of us are not available. So that I just say, let's not just wait until April to think about this future move in the future Sunday meeting. Can we start kind of planning that with the hope that things are going to be better and that we will be able to meet in a safe manner?
Yes, ma'am. We can start, staff can start looking at the schedule of all the other work we have going on and what might be available and start polling council to get some alignment on date options.
Okay, great. Thank you for that. So looks like a really good opportunity to discuss a lot of really important items that, as you said, are building blocks for moving forward into the future through this budget, CIP, in Town Center. I'm very much looking forward to those discussions. Don't see any other comments on this item. Is there anything else that staff needs from us affirming the plan for the winter meeting?
No, sir. We'll make sure the public is aware. We'll begin sharing that information. We wanted to get affirmation from council tonight, actively communicating the opportunity to listen to council's discussions on Friday and Saturday to the public through our social media and our communications channels, and we will include in that there will not be a Sunday session.
Okay, wonderful. At this time, I'd like to recognize Councilmember Rao, who had something that he wanted to share.
Yeah, Mayor and Councilor, and I'm sorry I was delayed in bringing up my comments, but a few people have corresponded with me during the meeting that, and this is just for staff, and it's a public safety concern that has really been bothering me, but there is a stop sign down at the intersection of Downing Glen and Town Hall Drive. And I'm not sure whether that's something that we can do, but I think it could be very dangerous, especially during the nighttime, if someone doesn't see a stop sign. It's been down for a few days. Everyone knows how much I run, so I've actually run by there a couple times and seen it. So if somebody could look into it, and I'm sorry to bring it up. I wanted to bring it up, but I sort of slipped my mind. So I just wanted to bring that out to the staff and to see if we can look into it. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing that. That's very important. I'd like to ask Town Manager Page, what would be a really good way for residents to let staff know about things like that?
Yeah, people should immediately call into our Public Works Department and log that type of request. If you contacted police, they would get that to our request. Brandon, anything you want to add? Is there a specific phone number or way you want them to communicate that information?
Yeah, I think the easiest number is the Public Works line because they would be addressing that, and I'm grabbing that right now. Seven 919-463-7090. 919-463-7090. Again, they can also go to the website and submit information that way, or they can always contact the police department again on a non-emergency line. Okay. But the Public Works number is the most effective.
Okay, and on the web, there's a report a problem link at the top of our main page, which would be good. After business hours, would someone go to the web or would they call 911 and say it's not an emergency? Sorry, don't want to get in the weeds, just Public Works closes at 5.
The 7090 number is monitored after hours. That's the after hours number.
Good, okay. I'll put that in our phones. Excellent. Well, thank you very much. Good information. We have one closed session this evening. We do not plan to conduct any public business after that session. So at this time, I'd like to thank all those who are watching this meeting of the Morrisville Town Council. We hope you plan to join us again. Please feel free to email your Town Council members at towncouncil@townofmorrisville.org or visit www.townofmorrisville.org/council for additional contact information. And at this time, I would entertain a motion to enter a closed session to discuss a personnel matter. I'd like to recognize Councilmember Rao.
Thank you, Mayor. Councilor Mayor, I want to, pursuant to 143.318.11A6, I move that we go into closed session to discuss a personnel matter.
Okay, I have a motion. I'd like to recognize Mayor Pro Tem Johnson, please.
I'll second.
Okay, if Town Clerk Smith would please conduct a roll call vote so that we can enter closed session.
Councilmember Scroggins Johnson.
Aye.
Councilmember Robati.
Aye.
Councilmember Rao,
Aye.
Councilmember Garamella,
Aye.
Councilmember Fender,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Johnson,
Aye.
Mayor Cawley.
Aye.
Motion to enter closed session passes unanimously.
Thank you very much. It's 8:23 p.m. We are now in closed session. We are going to all leave this meeting. We'll take a 10-minute break. Please reconvene at the other meeting that you received from the town clerk via Teams meeting invite by 8:34. Please announce when you're back in chat. Thank you all very much.